You could describe Max Verstappen's 2026 season as a series of unfortunate events. The four-time world champion seems to be met with misfortune in a different disguise every time he steps into a race car. Now, every driver has phases like this, and Verstappen had his share of bad luck in the past, but this season seems to take the cake. This made me search for a reason why this is happening, and I found that the only thing that really changed is the race number. Could this be the cause? And should Verstappen go back to the number 33? I'm Wimbo. Here's 3 seconds to leave a like. The 2026 season hasn't been a great success for Max Verstappen. Well, not on track anyway. I'm sure things are great in his private life, which is the most important anyway. But still, Verstappen loves winning, and we love seeing Max Verstappen win. The last time we heard Het Wilhelmus was in Abu Dhabi in December. That feels like a lifetime ago. Something else important happened that race, but I can't recall what it was. Maybe it wasn't that special after all then. Verstappen and the Red Bull team kept working on the RB21 to make the best out of that season, and this may have hampered their development for the RB22 a little. So in Formula 1, Max hasn't had a very good time yet. He had an issue during qualifying in Australia that saw him spin and not make it into Q2. He started that race in P20 and fought back to P6. In the Chinese Grand Prix, he had a technical DNF. In Japan, the car didn't work all that well, and he qualified in P11, where he masterfully put the car on pole last season, and he finished P8. And in Miami, things looked up when he qualified on the front row, but got his race compromised by an early spin, which forced him to do an early pit stop. He did a lot of overtaking and fighting, but in the end he finished P5, which was still disappointing. It's safe to say that the number 3 on his Red Bull Formula 1 car hasn't brought him any success. In a season where due to world politics a couple of races were cancelled, we did get to see Verstappen race with his own racing team, Verstappen.com Racing, in endurance racing. He raced in that series 3 times so far, and it was wonderful to see, but also riddled with bad fortune for my countrymen. In the Nürburgring Langstreckenserie, NLS2, Max and his teammates won the 4-hour race dominantly, and then they were disqualified because they had used too many tyres that day. Then his team participated in the NLS5 race as preparation for the 24 hours of Nürburgring, and they suffered a broken splitter, and they finished in P38. Every time something like this happened, Verstappen, his teammates and the fans said, better now than in the actual 24-hour race. Well, last weekend was the big event in Germany. 352,000 racing fans showed up to have a big party in the woods while following the race, a new record, which was caused by the Verstappen effect. Verstappen showed in the 2 double stints he did what a versatile driver he is and how little fear he has. He kept overtaking cars, making the presenters on the Red Bull Motorsports channel on YouTube gasp for air. After his stint at night on Sunday morning, his teammate Daniel Juncadella took over the wheel 4 hours before the end of the race, and he noticed a warning. He said he could drive around it, but then there were noises and he had to pit, where they found out this issue couldn't be fixed quickly and the race was pretty much over. They did fix the issue before the race was finished, so they drove the last 2 laps as a thank you to the fans, but the disappointment was great. The race was won by the other Mercedes car with the number 80. Maro Engel was one of the drivers there. I don't know if you remember him, but he had a little bit of doubt when Verstappen broke the lap record on the Nordschleife last season. He tweeted about it and Verstappen reacted. So number 80 won the race, and guess which number was on Verstappen.com Racing's car? Exactly, number 3. Why oh why didn't Max go back to number 33 when he lost the number 1? Max Verstappen lost the number 1 on his car because Lando Norris won the title in Abu Dhabi 2025. See, I didn't forget. I was joking earlier. So we all thought he'd go back to the number 33, the number he had from 2015 to 2021. As it turns out, the number 33 wasn't exactly his choice at the time. He had to take number 33 because a certain friendly Australian driver had the number 3 on his car. It was Verstappen's teammate and friend Daniel Ricciardo, who used 3 in F1. That's why Verstappen chose 33. Now, Daniel Ricciardo has retired not so long ago, and the FIA had a rule where a race number needed to be free for a season before it could be used again. The FIA updated this rule and Verstappen bought Daniel Ricciardo a couple of drinks and Max was allowed to take over the number 3. The number he always wanted, because he used it from when he was a kid. Here's what he said about it. My favourite number has always been 3, apart from number 1. We can now swap, so it'll be number 3. Number 33 was always fine, but I just like 1-3 better than 2. I always said it represented double luck, but I've already had my luck in Formula 1. It's funny how Verstappen says he already had his luck in F1, because ever since he's been using the 3, the double luck has left him. The single 3 wasn't very lucky for Daniel Ricciardo either. When Ricciardo made it to the Red Bull senior team, he beat Sebastian Vettel in 2014. People loved how funny and open the Australian was and how daring his late-breaking overtakes were. Obviously, when a driver beats a 4-time world champion like Vettel, an expectation is created. An expectation that Daniel Ricciardo would once be a world champion as well. All Red Bull needed to do is get strong engines again, because the Renault engines that were so successful for Vettel were a nightmare in the hybrid era. Something that would never change for the French manufacturer. Technical DNF after technical DNF plagued Ricciardo, but also Verstappen. Ricciardo was just unlucky to be at Red Bull during that period. Then things got worse for him when Verstappen started being faster than him. Not in every session, but often enough to become noticeable. The two Red Bull drivers had a few moments on track which blew up in Baku 2018. And after that, they both got yelled at by Helmut Marko. Around this time it became clear Red Bull would drop Renault for Honda engines and Ricciardo didn't have much faith in them, as the period before with Honda McLaren was awful for Honda and McLaren. So Danny Ric left for Renault, which went okay. Then he left the French team for McLaren until they dropped him for Piastri. Ricciardo tried to get back in form at the Red Bull sister team, but got injured and beaten by Tsunoda. And that was the end for Ricciardo and the number 3 in F1. Seeing the shared history now between Max and Daniel with the cursed number 3, should Verstappen convert back to number 33? We all know how based and down to earth Max Verstappen is. He doesn't believe in luck or superstitions. There are accounts on Twitter that do numerology and try to tie all kinds of things together. And then Verstappen comes along and breaks these made up curses. For instance, there was this Monza curse, where the winner of Monza one season wouldn't finish the race the following season. 2019 winner Charles Leclerc, who won for Ferrari but crashed out in the 2020 race. 2020 winner Pierre Gasly took a shock victory for AlphaTauri but crashed on the opening lap in 2021. 2021 winner Daniel Ricciardo won for McLaren but suffered a terminal engine failure in 2022. 2022 winner Max Verstappen won for Red Bull Racing and subsequently broke the streak by winning the 2023 event. Max Verstappen doesn't believe in these things, so they can't take hold of him. I'm sure there are more examples, but I'll continue with the rest of the video. If you know more, drop them in the comments and we can have a look at them. Max doesn't waste energy on superstitions and things he can't control. He just works hard on the things he can influence, and then the results will come eventually. In the case of the endurance racing, that race was full of high profile teams and drivers having the worst of luck. Cars were getting punctures or slipping off track due to oil. Endurance racing is known to be a slugfest, a war of attrition, and sometimes, without it being anyone's fault, you can lose a race. Jules Cournot, one of Max's teammates, said it in a very poetic way before the race. I truly believe that a place like Nordschleife, which has an aura, which is something special, the place chooses its winner. Verstappen has already said he'd try again next season, if the schedule allows it, and maybe then the track will choose them as the winners. As for Formula 1, things looked a lot better already in Miami. The upgrades worked. Max can throw the car around more thanks to the upgrades and some changes from the FIA. So I'm hopeful he can show his stuff again in Montreal. With Verstappen's skill and determination, the brilliant people on the wall, and GP in his ear, he can get a podium at least. And the number on his car does not influence that at all. The number of subscribers on my channel influences my mood, so please subscribe if you want to make me happy. Take care now. Doei doei.